Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game released in 2018. Some people find it slow-paced and boring, while others feel deeply connected to the character they met in the game. Why did it win the 2018 Best Narrative Game Award? Why it is considered a milestone in gaming history? Today, I'll take you on a journey through this wild western world. The story takes place in a fictional version of American West in 1899. The Wild West era is ending, and the society is moving toward law and order. You play as Arthur Morgan, a member of Vanderlyn Gang, trying to survive in an increasingly harsh environment while facing rival gangs, agents, and police. Arthur Morgan was raised by Dutch Vanderlyn, whom he sees as a father figure. Arthur isn't a good man. He robs, kills, and commits crimes, but he's not truly evil either. He greets strangers on the road, helps people in need, and is loyal to his brother in the gang. He has principles and avoids hurting innocent people whenever possible. Dodge undergoes the most dramatic transformation in the game. He is good at making plans, and he is the leader of the gang. In the beginning, his plans are meant to ensure a better life for his members, but over time, Dodge becomes obsessed with his schemes and stops caring about his people, prioritizing his plan over everything else. John Marston is the protagonist of Red Dead Redemption 1. Like Arthur, he was taken by the Dodge gang as an orphan. He later meets Abigail, his wife, and they have a son called Jack. As Arthur, you often take Jack fishing, playing, and even rescue him when he is kidnapped. John becomes the person Arthur entrusts his hopes to the end, because he has a sweet family. The game has 8 chapters, 6 main story chapters and 2 epilogues focusing on John Marston. Each chapter takes place in different location. The story revolves around robbery, rescue, and escape. The gang robs to fund their continuous flight from trouble. The story begins in snowy mountains, where the gang flees after a failed heist in Blackwater. They encounter members of the rival O'Driscoll gang, setting up a personal feud. This chapter introduces players to basic gameplay mechanics. It ends with the gang robbing a train before moving to Valentine. Valentine is a small town where the gang attacks O'Driscolls and rescues more members. Here, Arthur contracts tuberculosis during a debt collection mission, a death sentence in that era. This marks the start of his redemption arc. After a train heist goes wrong, the gang faces bigger problems. The agent Pinkertons were onto them. They moved to the Emerald Ranch, and Dad tries to exploit a feud between 2 biggest families there, the Braithwaites and the Grays, but his plans backfired. The gang is attacked by all sides, losing several members. Fueled by revenge, Dodge burns down the Braithwaites' mansion and kills all the family members. This event is the final highlight of the Vanderlyn gang. St. Denis. This industrial yet chaotic city marks a turning point. The Dutch learn about a bank filled with money. However, during the robbery, the gang is ambushed. They suffer heavy losses, and the trust within the gang begins to crumble. Jose Matthews, Dutch's rational second-in-command, is killed during this chapter. He always keeps Dutch sane when he comes up with crazy plans. After that, they were stuck in a small island called Garma. This chapter tells the story of how they were stranded on a deserted island, assisted the rebels in defeating the dictator, and returned to the United States. This chapter is a relatively fantastic plot, which has little impact on the story column structure. Dodge plans one last heist, but his behavior becomes increasingly shocking. He abandoned Arthur in danger and lies about John's death. Arthur discovers that Micah Bell, a gang member, is the traitor working with Pinkertons. Arthur revels the truth to Dutch, but Dutch doesn't trust him, but he trusts Mecca. The gang splits, with some members siding with Arthur and others staying with Dutch. In the end, Arthur helps John escape and face Mecca in the final fight. Wounded and weakened, Arthur dies for his injuries and illness. The game follows a linear narrative and it focuses heavily on character development. The story is filled with heroism and tragedy, presenting a vivid Western world. It explores themes like love, hate, revenge, loyalty, and redemption. Arthur strives to do what he believes is right and ultimately finds his redemption. At the end of Arthur's journey, the game offers different outcomes based on the player's honor level, which reflects their action during the game, helping others, avoiding unnecessary violence, or simply greeting strangers can add the honor value to them. The game uses symbolic illusion visions of a deer for high honor or an eagle for low honor to reflect Arthur's moral standing. This ending allows players to reflect their own choices and the legacy of Arthur Morgan. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prime example of successful character development in gaming. Dutch is a brilliant man, but he lost his sanity long ago due to repeated failures. He clings stubbornly to outdated ideals, believing that every problem can be solved through clever schemes. Yet, in the face of the unstoppable tide of progress, there is no way of forward for him and his gang. As failure after failure piles up, Dutch sacrificed his brothers one by one until he finally abandoned everything, including his humanity, to carry out his plans, no matter the cost. In contrast, Arthur holds on to the value Dutch taught him at the very beginning. He is the purest embodiment of those ideals. The gang members are fierce and encourages, often taking on overwhelming odds to complete their missions. Violence paves the way for their temporary victories, but in the end, they cannot escape death. Violence solves nothing. It cannot earn the trust of the most loyal, or win back the love of the dearest. Whatever how powerful you are, you can't escape from your fate.